Wake up YouTube and welcome to this really cool battle I had against a PokeTuber called TheTabKey. He's an all-around great guy and you should check out his channel in the description below. But what we both did is we both obviously had the same battle and we're both uploading commentary from each of our perspectives. So I'm uploading it from my perspective on the Pokeflute YouTube channel, and he's uploading the battle from his perspective on his channel, TheTabKey. I'll put a link to the video below. But this way, after you watch this video and you kind of get a sense of what I was thinking when I battled him, you can see what he was thinking when he battled me, and this is good because you can see if, he was thinking about the predictions I was making or I was trying to outpredict him, and it's a really cool all-around experience. So looking at his team, the only thing I'm really afraid of is the Talonflame because that gets in the way of Mega Heracross from sweeping. I've been taking sort of this team, it's really mostly Juice's idea, and I know Juice is really big on Mega Heracross, so Mega Heracross actually ends up putting in a lot of work in this battle, as you'll see. So he goes into Raikou against my Rotom, which is a really nice play on his part. I ended up going for the Will-O-Wisp to try to, catch the Gallade. But now Rotom really doesn't like going up against Raikou because it can just Volt Switch me. So I switch into Scizor. Now the reason he ends up going for Hidden Power here, as you'll see, is because he thought I was going to switch into Landorus, and then he could, one-shot my Landorus with Hidden Power Ice, which is quadruple actually super effective. But joke's on you, I switched into Scizor, and now you're forced to switch out into your Talonflame. Now this is the guy that I want to do as much damage as possible on, so I end up just going into U-turn and trying to get into a more favorable matchup. I end up actually going into Landorus because Landorus is able to put Intimidate on this Talonflame and sort of scare it into not doing as much damage, and then now I can also use this as an opportunity to get up my Stealth Rocks. So I set up my Stealth Rocks, don't really know what's going to come in, but he ends up bringing in his Starmie, which is actually really bad for me and a nice play on his part, because now he can just rapid spin away my rocks, and it's like my Landorus never even came in. So I'm fearing the Ice Beam, and I decide to switch into Rotom, because I'm not 100% sure whether he's going to go for the Ice Beam or the Rapid Spin. He ends up going for the Rapid Spin, and I think after this point, he might bring in a Physical Sweeper, so I decide to go for Will-O-Wisp here, maybe catch whatever he brings in, but he ends up bringing Raikou back in, and Raikou's the thing that eats the Will-O-Wisp, so good job on the TabKey's part. Now here's where I try to get a little bit smart. I know that Raikou these days are probably Choice Spec, so I know he's probably going to try to hit me with an Electric attack. So I go into Landorus, and I actually make a really good call because he ends up going for Volt Switch, which is Stop. So at this point, I think, you know what, he's forced into Volt Switch, he's going to switch out, let me use this as an opportunity to set up my Stealth Rocks. But no, plot twist completely, his Raikou actually was not holding a choice item, probably was holding, Expert Belt, something fashionable, but this prevented, so I thought actually that his Raikou would be forced to go for Volt Switch, and I would be able to get a free move off, but no, he ends up taking out my Landorus, which is a massive problem, because Landorus is the biggest counter on this team to Talonflame. So now the only way I can really stop Talonflame is if I get it to either kill itself with Brave Bird, or I bring in Scizor or Rotom to maybe tank some hits. So he goes into Starmie now again because he wants to bring the Talonflame back in to destroy my team now that Landorus is gone, and he ends up just spinning away my rocks. Luckily, I did a damage calc when I was doing this, and I found that U-turn from Scizor one-shot Starmie, so I decided to just get that Starmie out of the way, just try to maybe whittle down some things on his team, as I end up going back into Rotom, just as a sort of neutral Pokemon. So now, this is where I think he ends up making a little bit of a misplay. He goes into Gallade, maybe to try to stat up and Leaf Blade me, but he mentioned later when I was talking to him that he completely forgot that my Rotom had a Will-O-Wisp. So I end up going for a Will-O-Wisp here, which, suffice it to say, pretty much kills Gallade for the rest of the match, since Gallade isn't going to be doing much with that half attack drop. And I end up bringing Rotom out. When I brought Rotom out, I kind of realized that maybe this was a little bit of a trap, because Rotom and Landorus were the only two things that really stopped Talonflame. but I managed to luckily get Rotom out safely a little bit, so as you can see, it plays a little bit of a part in stopping Talonflame's sweep later on. Now, I think he was going into Bisharp or whatever. I didn't know what he was going to go into, so I just threw out a Focus Blast, see whatever he throws out, and he ends up, you know, pretty much taking out Robin Williams with an Ice Punch and a Shadow Sneak. No big deal, his Gallade dies to burn anyway, and we're both in a stalemate position. At this point, he has 3 Pokemon left, 2 of them are beaten by Heracross, so I decided, you know what, why not? Why not just send out Heracross right there and get the Mega Evolution? But no, the TabKey makes a smart play and goes into Talonflame again. So, fearing the Talonflame, I decide to just sack it with Rotom, and at this point, my only way to beat Talonflame is to get it just hurt itself over and over. And that's one of the biggest problems with Talonflame. These things are so annoying. They have Brave Bird. They're literally the face of Smogon these days. But you let it use Brave Bird enough times and it's gonna die. It's just gonna take itself out. So it uses Brave Bird, gets down to pretty much 50% as Latios lives that nicely and ends up killing it with Draco Meteor. So now the only 2 Pokemon he has left are Mammothswine and Bisharp. Both of them kill Latios. Bisharp with Sucker Punch, Mammothswine with Ice Shard, so I decided to sack Latios as he goes for a Pursuit as I was trying to switch out. And now I just decide to bring in Mega Heracross and sweep his team. The only thing I'm potentially worried about is the Mammothswine, but at this point, Bisharp's not going to be able to touch me. He ends up going for Knockoff. I don't know why, maybe because he kind of realized that no matter what his Bisharp did, it was screwed. And look at that Juicy J missile and destroys, one-shots his Bisharp, which I think is pretty cool, as he tries to bring back in Mammothswine, and at this point, his Ghetto Breloom is done. He gets a little bit of a scare here with Icicle Crash, and I'm pretty much at this point thinking, good game. We get down to the Sash, but there's really nothing he can do at this point. So, good game, the TabKey. The biggest part of this battle was me trying to whittle down his Talonflame. Since he took out Landorus, if he had taken out Rotom as well, and weakened Latios a bit, he probably would have been able to win the battle with Talonflame completely sweeping my team. So good game. That was really close match, and I'll put a link to his battle in the description below. It's something you guys should really check out. If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and now we have a Twitter, so follow us on Twitter at PokefluteYT. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you next week.